Hey everyone, as many of our deliverables are Word documents that we need to submit, I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to do figures, creating figures and tables, like captions, as well as cross-referencing them in text so that they eventually can auto-update if more figures are added and you don't have to renumber everything. So for example, here we have a figure 4 that is currently a specifications list for a battery charge tester. And if you can see here, if I highlight this, this is not an auto figure number, so this is not updatable. So if I add a figure in front of this, I have to manually renumber this to 5 in order for that update to take place. Now, you don't have to do that. There's an easier way to make sure that everything is tied together. The way you do that is I'm going to just copy this so I have the text for it. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to click the picture, right click, and then insert caption. I'm going to make sure this label here is figure. And then for some reason, it's not showing the rest of that figure there, but I'm going to go all the way to the right, and then I'm going to paste in the text that I just copied. And then currently for our kind of format, we want periods after the figure number. Then I'm going to press OK, and that's going to have the same caption essentially, but if I highlight it, you can see that the 4 is darkened. That means that there's some referencing going on here, so it's actually looking at how many times figure has been used in that insert citation in the document, and then providing this number in its order compared to the other figures. So there's a figure somewhere above here that should be figure 3. That's table 3. Here, so there's a figure 3. So for some reason, if I remove this figure, so if I take this out, right, that figure is gone. If I go back down here, still figure 4. All I got to do is right click that while it's highlighted and then update field, and it'll renumber it to figure 3. So that's why it's important to do that. As we make bigger documents with more figures, it just makes it so much easier to just update your references rather than trying to hard type in all the figure numbers. So I'm going to make sure I copy that back in. Cool. So that's how you create a figure caption. Tables are essentially the same thing. So if I have a table, look for a table over here. So the way this table caption was created is I just highlight the entire table, right click, insert caption. For label, I go to table instead of figure, and then I type in what I want this text to be. You could also just enter it in without text and then add the text in afterwards. That's fine too. As long as you don't delete the table and the number that has the darker highlight, then you're always going to be able to update that. And what you see here too is that in this text, I'm referencing table 3, and if I highlight it, you can see that's dark as well. That means it's pulling information in order to create that text, so that if for some reason that table 3 updates to table 4, table 5, it'll do that automatically for me. And I'll show you an example of how to do that cross-reference here. So I have a few lines of text that describe the tester. So I'm just going to add here, specifications are shown below in, and then I'm going to go to references, then cross-reference, and then I'm looking for my figure, which is figure 4. Then I'm going to highlight my figure 4 here. One thing to note is I just want it to say figure 4. I don't want it to say the whole thing. So instead of doing the entire caption, I'm going to change this to label and number only. So only label and number. I insert, and that's going to insert that figure 4 here. That way, if I add figures in the future and this ends up being like figure 5, then all I got to do is once you edit the entire document, what you can do is you highlight all. So Control Alt, Control A, right click, update field, and all of your references that were created like this will update by themselves. So you don't have to keep track of figure numbers or anything like that. So really suggest, or I'm going to require that we do this for all of our documents when we create figures and everything to make sure that it's as easy as possible to make sure all the numbers are coinciding correctly. Cool. Thanks, everyone.